All right, getting this hind quarter all situated here. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table. Hey, I love this time of year when we're out in the woods getting deer and elk meat. There's so many delicious recipes you can make with elk or deer. Today, we're going to make venison carne asada. It's gonna be delicious. Well, I better head on down the hill. Outdoorsmen have been providing fresh food for American family tables for generations. Hunting and fishing is a way of life for our family, and we enjoy cooking delicious fish and game meals. We want to share our recipes with you. This week we are making carne asada. The thinly sliced carne asada will be served with Mexican fried rice and strawberry mojitos. A tres leches cake completes our delicious meal.
That's really good.
This is Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table. Hi everyone, welcome to the Whitewater Lodge here in Leavenworth, Washington on the banks of the beautiful Wenatchee River. It's so nice of our buddy Tim to let us use this place. It's perfect for a small group of people or friends to cook and enjoy the scenery here. Today we'll be making venison carne asada, Mexican fried rice, strawberry mojitos, and tres leches cake. That means 3 milk cake, and you'll see Vicky's gonna make a wonderful dessert. Carne asada is usually made with a flank steak, and a flank steak is usually a tougher cut of meat. It's very thin and it's very coarse. But we're going to use both elk and deer. Venison steaks work very well for this dish, particularly if you have an older animal that's a little bit tougher, or a cut of meat on the hind quarter, for example, that's not as tender as another, because we're going to be using a marinade that helps break down that tissue a little bit with all those nice flavors and allows us to have a very tender cut of meat at the end. So I'm going to start by using our Harrod's Cookhouse Northwest steak seasoning to season these steaks. And like I said, the lighter colored ones here are elk, and then these very dark red over here are deer. So we just get a little bit of this on each side. The nice thing about our seasonings is that we've developed them specifically for wild game. And what you're going to find on the Northwest steak seasoning, it has a sweet and smoky flavor. It's perfect for wild game meat, that really strong flavor of game. Okay, and I've kind of got both sides seasoned pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is just put this in a plastic bag. Okay, well, I'm just going to put it there like that. Well, now I've got my steaks in the bag, and we're going to start with the marinade. You'll need 2 limes, 4 cloves of garlic, orange juice, chopped fresh cilantro, ½ teaspoon salt, black pepper, olive oil, jalapeno, and white vinegar. I have all my fresh ingredients here, and before I get started, I'll sharpen my knife with the combo sharpener. I hit it over here on the ceramic. Got to have a good sharp knife. Okay, you can just guess at about a cup of cilantro. Let's give this a good rough chop. Okay, and then all of this into the bag. Next we'll do the jalapenos. Seeds and all. And same thing, kind of a rough chop. Okay, into the bag. Boy, it smells good. Next is the garlic. You smash them, and then you can peel the skin right off. Chop up the garlic once you smash it. Into the bag. Next, we'll do 2 limes. We use this juicer. You put these in what appears to be upside down, but it works really well that way. The lime juice helps break down the meat, make it much more tender. Okay, then a 1/4 cup of oil, a ½ cup of orange juice. Okay, we also have 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. And now we have a couple of dry ingredients. Do a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and a ½ teaspoon of salt. Now, once we have all those ingredients in there, we just zip it up, we get the air out, and then we just want to get all those great flavors together. Boy, I tell you, it just smells wonderful. This is gonna be so good. Now we just need to put this in the fridge and wait a couple hours. Coming up after the break, I visit Worksharp and learn about the history of the company and how they make great knife sharpeners. And Vicki makes her Tres Leches cake. Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table is brought to you by Worksharp, Leche, Harrod Outdoors online store. This is Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table. Well, here we are at Worksharp, and you folks have noticed that we use the Worksharp knife and tool sharpener a lot in the kitchen to sharpen all of our kitchen knives and our fillet knives. And I really enjoy working with Worksharp, and I thought it would be interesting for all of you to know a little bit more about the company. So I've come on down, and Kyle, thanks for meeting with me again.
Thanks for coming down, Richard.
Yeah, and I was just wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the history of this company.
Absolutely. Derek's is a family-owned business. We've been sharpening focused since 1973. Okay. We're right here in Ashland, Oregon, and we manufacture 3 different brands of sharpeners. The Worksharp brand of knife and tool sharpeners, right. Drill Doctor drill bit sharpeners, and the Derek's industrial line of sharpeners.
So we use the Worksharp a lot, especially the original. It works well in the kitchen for fillet knives and everything. How long did it take to come up with that design?
That was a fun project. We explored flexible belt technology in the knife sharpening application. In about 14 months, we were able to come out with a finished product after some extensive R&D.
And for outdoorsmen, the Worksharp is just a wonderful tool, and it's great in the kitchen. That's what we found.
It's important. I mean, it's an application for a sharp knife through the entire process, whether you're in the field or doing your game processing or in the kitchen. So Ben, thanks for taking time to meet with me.
Absolutely, no problem.
And so tell me, what happens here at Worksharp? How do they get made?
Well, you're fortunate today. We're actually making the original Worksharp knife and tool sharpener. We have our production line over here. We basically start with a motor, and when it comes out a few minutes later on the other end of the line, we have a complete unit.
So then everybody kind of has a different job.
Everybody does. Everybody has about a 17-second operation that they complete, and
really?
Then it's on to the next person.
Wow,
yeah,
17 seconds.
And people usually are always asking me, well, where do you guys make those? Where are all your factories?
Right.
And I said, we have one factory. This is the only place in the world that they're made right here. And it's really good that you're finally able to make it down here.
Man,
it's great,
been a lot of
great
fun.
to get you down here.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Ben.
You're very
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Absolutely.
Well, Vicki's joined me now, and we're going to start working on the Tres Leches cake. We have our oven at 350 preheating. Vicki, what do we need to make this?
For the cake batter, we need flour, baking powder, salt, eggs, sugar, whole milk, and vanilla.
Okay, how do we get started?
Well, the first thing you're going to do is you need to take your flour and your salt and your baking powder and put those in a bowl. Then we need to get our eggs separated, all 5. So I'll take the whites and you take the yolks.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck. You have better skills at separating than I do.
This is the last egg. Get it separated well.
I add all this sugar?
Yep, add all that sugar and beat it until it is nice and pale yellow.
Okay. At high speed?
Yep, and I will get these going.
Okay.
Gradually add this sugar in. I want to beat it until peaks form. Okay, it looks like the soft peaks are forming, and what that means is when you take the beater out, it's nice and solid. They don't just dissolve.
This is pale just like you said, so now what do I need to do?
You need to add some milk and some vanilla and do it kind of slowly because it might splash.
We're adding a teaspoon of vanilla and a half cup of milk. What do you do with the egg whites?
Hold on for just a minute. We will mix these dry ingredients with the flour that we put in this bowl a little earlier. And then we add the egg whites at the very last. I'm just going to mix it by hand because you don't want to over mix it. It'll make it tough. So let's mix it by hand.
It smells good already.
It does. That vanilla smells really good.
Here, I'll take that. So you just need to go real careful. Is that the idea? Mm-hmm. So what's next?
So I take these nice egg whites that I beat up, I'll put them right into this, and I want to do it kind of gently and just fold them in so they don't lose any of their fluffiness.
I take it the egg whites provide it kind of a fluffy cake, I
It
suppose,
does.
huh?
So you just kind of gently fold these in. That's probably pretty good.
Looks really fluffy for sure with all
So now we have to put it in our pan that we've already sprayed. It's important that you get it nice and flat on the top and just smooth that out a little bit. Okay.
Looks really good.
And now this goes into a preheated oven for about 35 to 40 minutes.
Okay, I'll put it in.
Okay, I'll open the door for you.
Coming up next, Vicki will finish her tres leches cake by adding the sweet milk mixture, and I'll start the Mexican fried rice. It's sweet followed by savory. Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table is brought to you by Worksharp, Micklich, Harrod Outdoors online store. This is Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table.
Well, my cake is finally cooled, and I need to poke some holes in it and get these 3 milks together to do the tres leches part of this cake. So now that I've got all my holes poked in the cake, I need to make the tres leches. I have evaporated milk, sweetened condensed milk, and whole milk, and I'll mix those 3 together. Leches in Spanish means milk. Tres is 3, so we have 3 different kinds of milk. Mix those up really well. The sweetened condensed milk thickens things up a little bit. And now I'm just going to simply pour this on top, kind of slowly, so it gets all soaked into that cake. Now this goes in the refrigerator for about an hour, or it could even go up to overnight and get nice and chilled.
While Vicki was getting the tres leches cake in the refrigerator, I got all the ingredients together for the Mexican fried rice. Here are the ingredients that you're going to need. You need white rice, olive oil, an onion, garlic, chicken bouillon, cumin, chili powder, paprika, black pepper, fire roasted tomatoes with green chilies, a can of tomato sauce, and low sodium chicken broth. So the first thing I need to do is get some oil going in my pan. So I'm going to turn my pan on to about medium heat. All right, I got my oil in. Next thing I need to do is chop an onion, half an onion, and some garlic. So same thing as before, we'll just smash the cloves, peel the skin off of them. Okay, and we're just going to chop these up. All right, well, that's pretty good. Then I'll also chop up my onion. Get the end off here. And you can make this as fine or as coarse as you like. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I kind of like mine coarse, so I'll keep it that way. So now I just need to add my rice, the garlic, and the onions. The idea here is we're going to get the garlic and the onions in with the rice. What I'm looking for is the onions to become translucent. Then I'll add the rest of the ingredients. Oh, this just smells wonderful. I can smell the garlic and the onions. I think what I want to do is allow my rice to look a little bit like it's been browned. That's pretty close. What I can see here is that the rice has begun to brown a little bit, so I think I'll go ahead and add the rest of my ingredients. Bring these back over, think I'll take all my ingredients over to the stove. It'll be a lot easier. So it kind of doesn't matter what order that you put these in. So I'm just going to start out and add the ingredients. Here's the bouillon. Here's all of our dry ingredients, the pepper, the chili powder, the cumin. Let's put those in. We'll add our green chilies, the roasted tomatoes, the tomato sauce, and finally the chicken broth. Oh man, all those flavors just smell so wonderful. Now I'm just going to mix this up a little bit here, and the idea is that we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we need to simmer it, of course, until the rice is tender. So I'll just turn this up a little bit. All right, that looks like it's come to a boil, so I'm just going to cover it and turn it down to low, and it will cook for 15 or 20 minutes, and it'll be all ready. Coming up after the break, the Carne Asada heads to the grill. Fresh strawberry mojitos are made, and we enjoy our meal on the banks of the Wenatchee River. Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table is brought to you by Work Sharp, Leche, Harrod Outdoors online store. This is Harrod's Cookhouse Field to Table. I think the marinated steaks are been in there long enough.
Yeah. Wow.
Woo! Smell that.
Oh, those are going to be good.
Boy, the smell of all that citrus. I'm going to go ahead and get these on the grill.
Okay. While you're doing that, I think I'll make some mojitos.
All right.
Okay, we start by putting in some mint leaves that I've already kind of cut up. And you put in some strawberries because this is strawberry mojitos. And then you muddle, which means you basically smash everything to bring out the juices and the flavors. So you just smash those up pretty well.
All right, let's get these on the grill. We want a nice hot grill. Kind of get some of the excess liquid off. And these are going to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes a side since they're fairly thin. Kind of want them medium rare, so I don't want to cook them too long.
Okay, and then once these are muddled, then I add some white rum, some agave syrup to sweeten it up, and then some lime juice. And you mix that up good. And then the very last thing you do is add some club soda for some bubbles. And they're ready to pour into some glasses with some ice. Okay, so now I'm just going to pour these into some glasses with some ice and garnish them up a little bit with some mint and some strawberries. A little lime on the top. Now I'll go ahead and take one of these out to Richie while he's tending the barbecue.
It's been about 4 minutes. Oh, we got a nice sear on these, so I'm going to go ahead and turn them. Oh boy, those look wonderful. Those are great.
I have a mojito for you.
Oh, thank you.
Those look really good.
Those look good, don't they? Wow, that's really good.
That's good, huh?
We'll give those 3 to 4 minutes and be ready to go. Oh, it's a nice spot, isn't it? Okay, it's been another 4 minutes, and what you want to do is kind of push down on the steak a little bit. If it feels firm, then it's done. And these look done, and I don't want to overdo wild game because it gets kind of tough. So nice and medium rare, These look wonderful. So I'm going to pull these off, take them inside, and let them rest for a little bit. There's nothing like sharing a wild game meal which you prepared with family. It's satisfying to know that you can provide healthy food for the ones you love.
Wow, that is good.
That's really good, isn't it?
Here's dessert, tres leches cake. That's really good.
And so ends another journey from field to table.